Well, it's never easy if you're a Dodger fan. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Rodriguez, and welcome to the Tuesday version of Dodgers Latest. You can always hit me up on X and on Instagram at JRodShow. And yeah, the Dodgers beat the Marlins last night 7-6 in 10 innings. Problem was they had a 5-0 lead in that game. Miami came back, put a 5 spot to tie. Miami actually took the lead in the top of the 10th inning before the Dodgers got a 2-run single from Tommy Tanks to walk them off, and Dodgers win the game 7-6. Whew, never easy when you're a Dodger fan. Well, the bad news is that Tyler Glasnow is officially on the 15-day injured list with inflammation in his shoulder. It's essentially the same exact injury that Blake Snell has. And for the Dodgers, I mean, look at that stat. That is the 13th Dodger pitcher this year that is on the injured list. I mean, we already know Snell, Kershaw, and that's not even counting Ohtani, who technically isn't on the injured list but can't pitch as he recuperates from his elbow surgery. So the Dodgers now have to go and figure out who do you replace and what do you do with Tyler Glasnow. First of all, $136 million in a 5-year extension after the Dodgers made the trade for Glasnow. Remember, he missed the last 2.5 months of the season and the postseason with what was later diagnosed as tendonitis in his right elbow. He's had cramps. He's had a litany of injuries. So what will be the long-term health for Tyler Glasnow? And for the Dodgers, like I said, they are stuck and on the hook for $136 million with our Oppenheimer lookalike there. So who steps up? What is the difference? Today's a bullpen game for the Dodgers against the Marlins, and they will draw Sandy Alcantara. What about Ben Kasparias? Now, Ben Kasparias has been an absolute rock in that bullpen. Maybe an option to replace Glasnow, and in the rotation in general is Kasparias. 3-0, ERA of 2.91, and look at that whip of under 1, 0.92. He has been brilliant this year, as has been the Dodger bullpen. But what are the other options? Well, we talked about Kasparias. Noah Davis, who we saw last pitch on Friday against the Pirates, he might actually get the start tonight. Tonight is a bullpen game for the Dodgers against Alcantara. It's a bullpen game, so maybe it's Noah Davis. We've already seen Landon Knack this year. We've seen Justin Robleski this year. We may see Bobby Miller. That's another option. So here we are into the season, and the Dodgers have already dipped into Knack, Miller, Robleski, and Kasparias as starters. Maybe see Noah Davis tonight. The best of the lot, I think, would be Bobby Miller. But I'll tell you what, this guy you see right there, Ben Kasparias, has been a gem this year. Don't be surprised if you see him get slowly folded into the starting rotation. Why do I think Noah Davis tonight? Well, he last pitched on Friday. He can be an opener, can pitch 2 or 3 innings. And remember, the Dodgers have a game tomorrow, and we'll tell you who's pitching in that game. But then they're off Thursday, so they can dip into that bullpen a little bit, and they're probably going to need the bullpen on Wednesday. But first things first, so with all these injuries to the starters, what about some trade bait? We talked about James Outman and Esteury Ruiz, who the Dodgers acquired from the A's at the beginning of the season. We talked about them possibly being in a deal to get maybe a Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox. Well, what about an Outman, an Esteury Ruiz, a Bobby Miller to try to get another established starter? That may be what the Dodgers need. Yeah, we got help on the way. Kershaw's on the way. Ohtani, I don't know if we're going to see Ohtani start again this year. I know that's what he wants, but I think the Dodgers would be much happier with him just as a hitter. We saw with the 50-50 season last year when he was only concentrating on hitting. And again, even if Kershaw comes back, and he's not scheduled to come back till the end of May into June, early June, and he's already made 3 starts in the minor leagues, I don't know what you can expect from Clayton at 37 years old to really carry you down the stretch, especially if Glasnow and Snell are laid up for any significant amount of time. I mean, look what James Outman's done, right? 26 games, he's got 6 homers, 7 doubles, a triple, 27 hits in 26 games, 15 runs scored. Average isn't anything to write home about, 245, but when he does hit the ball, he hits it with authority and power. 27 hits, like 7 doubles, a triple, 6 homers. That's almost half of his hits are for extra bases. And Esteury Ruiz, he brings a stealing factor into this. He is 13 for 13 in stolen bases down in the minor leagues. In 18 games, he's got 5 doubles, a triple, a home run, and he's hitting 306. Very possible you could package either one of these guys, maybe even a Bobby Miller, and try to get a big name starting pitcher down the stretch if this rotation of Knack and Robleski and Noah Davis don't work out and you don't want to, be using an opener all the time. There's a possibility with Outman and Ruiz playing well in AAA that you may see them trade bait. And now that we've seen the emergence of Andy Pages, maybe getting Luis Robert isn't a priority anymore. Maybe it's getting a frontline starting pitcher to throw it in there. And finally, speaking of frontline starting pitchers, the Catman is back. Tony Gonsolin. Well, he will be coming off the injured list tomorrow, Wednesday, and he will be making his first start since August of 2023. That's right. Yeah, he had Tommy John surgery. So he will return. Much needed help for the Dodgers. And like I said, today's going to be a bullpen game. Tomorrow's going to be a bullpen game with Gonsolin. And then that off day on Thursday will be much needed for the Dodgers. Go to Atlanta, Miami, and Phoenix. Big road trip for the Dodgers coming up after they end the homestand tomorrow. And for Gonsolin, you just wonder what you can get from him at the start. Folks, it's only April. And I feel like the Dodgers rotation in terms of the bullpen at the starters, I feel like it's already been a 7-month season for them. We're only in April. 13 pitchers are on the injured list. 1 comes off tomorrow in Gonsolin, and so it'll be a welcome sight to see him, the Catman, and his furry spikes on the mound. Hopefully he can deliver for the Dodgers, stay healthy, and give them what he won when he was an all-star in 23 and a Cy Young Award candidate. Tomorrow it's an earlier start. Dodgers play at 3 o'clock West Coast time to close out the homestand. It'll be Cal Quantrill against Tony Gonsolin. And we said Thursday off, and then Friday the Devil and the Dodgers go down to Georgia. I'm Jim Rodriguez. Hit me up on X and Instagram at JRodShow. And as always, it's time for Dodger Baseball.